If I reminded you that you are perfect, would you argue me down or step into your perfection? Welcome to Perfect Mode, where there are no excuses, no expectations, and we explore the world without limitations. I'm Jay Clay, rapper and spiritual teacher, with my co-host Troy Washington, your friendly neighborhood realtor. Let's be real, so let's be perfect. Perfect mode. Everything, anything, plenty things, 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 perfect mode. Perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode, perfect mode. Everything, anything, plenty things, perfect mode, perfect mode. Everything, anything, plenty things, perfect mode. Perfect. Yeah.
Welcome to Perfect Mode. What up, man? What up? Coming in hot today, baby. So first off, let me start by telling y'all that we love y'all. We're grateful for the opportunity to be anywhere, sharing our thoughts, and hopefully helping you realize that you are perfect. And the reason why I can say that unapologetically is because I know that you are one of one, numero uno. You cannot be replicated, duplicated. And the only reason you would think that you're not perfect is if you're looking at this person on the side of you and saying, I'm not them, but guess what? You are you. And that's all you need. And of course, it's yours truly, Troy Washington, your friendly neighborhood realtor. And I have my boy Jay Clay, spiritual rapper and teacher. And we about to jump on here and talk about the confidence cure. How to speak up, be heard, and get what you deserve. The confidence cure. What up, Jay?
What up? Happy day. Perfect mode land. For some reason, I think our Facebook live one might not be working.
Yeah, so I just saw that and it was weird to me, but
yeah, YouTube working, Instagram working, catch the replay, all that good stuff. But yeah, I'm feeling good today. Want to talk about this confidence cure.
Yeah, man. So yeah, like when first of all, when I see this, of course, like always, bro, I always try to see what my first thought or the first thing that comes to my mind is. And the thing that comes to my mind is it's not always a holistic thought. It's always broken up into where are there areas in my life where I do need the confidence cure or where I'm lacking confidence, because there are some areas of my life where it's just automatic. I'm on automatic. I can just do whatever. So, that's the first thing that came to my mind. But what were you thinking when you first saw this topic?
So one thing I'm trying to post the link, the Facebook live one into our Facebook in case some people missing it. But I will say this, the first thing that came to mind with this is like, it's everything. Confidence is everything, because it's like, it's the foundation of what you can do. It's part of being who you are. And if you're not comfortable being you're missing out on so much, because like you're uniquely suited for so many things. Like we talk about how perfect you are, and confidence is a big component of that, of being confident to just be who you are, even though it's not going to look like your way of thinking and doing and being is not going to be the same as anyone else. And that's all right, because we are all different. We are all one, but we are all seeing from a different perspective. And so we get to express ourselves differently. And it all starts with confidence.
And, to that point, it's weird. And it's even from what I said starting at the show. But the question I think that we got to ask ourselves is, why would I ever not be confident in me? Again, I get the thought process of not being confident in things outside of me. So as an example, me and Jay Clay are doing these things together, and he has this portion. Again, I never doubt my boy, just FYI for y'all, but I can understand why somebody would feel uncomfortable or not confident in something when you don't have direct control over the actions or whatever needs to be done. But the question again is, why would I ever have a lack of confidence in myself? And that's whether I know what I'm doing or not, because there's always an opportunity to something. Go ahead, Jay. That's my thoughts.
Yeah. And I love that, because okay. Let me take a step back. One thing I want this to be is, like, let's say you are lacking confidence, how to step into that. Because the thing is, we all have moments where we're fully confident. We have those things that we do that we're just in our bag, as they say, and we know exactly what to do. we know how to move. But then we have these other instances where we're not. Partly because we talked about fear last week. We're afraid to fail, but failing was never in the equation in the beginning, especially if you're doing something for the first time. Like we always bring up walking and talking. When you first started walking and talking, like you weren't afraid, you just knew you were going to do it one day. So you were happy to try to do it. And you had that confidence in yourself that I can do this. Like I know you talk about your kids all the time that they see something new. They say, I can do it. And even if they don't do it good the first time, their confidence hasn't wavered because they're like, I can do this. But somewhere along the lines, I don't know whether we're comparing ourselves to others or we let others get inside of our heads that we start to lose confidence in ourselves.
And, this is actually something that I think that I've mentioned before, at least as far as my mentality or my thinking about it. And that's that it's funny. It could be because I'm cutting perfect mode shorts. So for everybody that don't know, you can find us on YouTube. You can get the shorts on YouTube, TikTok, everywhere, but the thought process is, bro, that there's so much oppositional thinking. There are so many different viewpoints that we subscribe to. And I say subscribe because it's just like a YouTube page. Sidewalk, and then you buy into it, and it doesn't mean that you're in agreement with all the stock that is selling, but the essence of it becomes a part of you. And so because you're seeing all these other things go on, it offsets it's louder than what you think for yourself. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. So I want to bring up an interesting premise. It says you don't get what you deserve, you get what you claim. Now, some people might go to thinking that means I'm just going to take this. I'm just going to steal this from another person or take that. And I don't believe that this is what this is saying. This is saying like you get what you believe you're capable of getting. The things that you claim. Like it's been many times that we've gotten a gift and we might not think we deserved it and we wanted to give it back. And it's like we're even though we probably were very deserving of it, but until we claim it, until we accepted that gift of for our own taking, we couldn't have accepted it, if that makes sense. Even if somebody's giving us a gift, we don't always want to accept it, but you should, because you set this for yourself. You said, I am worthy of this. This is what I want. And it's that easy. You don't have to effort for things. You don't have to work hard, tooth and nail, unless you enjoy doing that. But it's really as simply as confidently claiming it.
Now, this is what so funny enough about this, bro. I literally just had this conversation. So shouts out to Mia at Black Coffee and Franklin and Anthony. So I was at their house and I had this epiphany because, as you know, I'm new to Chat GPT. Yeah. And so I literally been using it every single day. And a part of the reason is because I'm doing our stuff for Perfect Mode. I'm doing stuff on my personal channels and things of that nature. But also along with it, I'm writing a book, right? And so what I ended up doing was, and this is actually a quote that I put in my book because I realized that as I'm talking to Chat. But the reality of it is, Chat only knows Chat only knows what I tell him. And so if you were to go into Chat and you say, hey, tell me something about Troy, it's going to tell you all of these great things. But not only that, it's going to give you for things that I haven't done or things that I want to do, right? It's going to tell you, it's going to be all facing forward in a sense, right? But then the reality of it is life is the exact same way. And this is what I was telling Frank and Mia. All the people on the outside of us, they only know what we tell them. They only know what we show them. And so they can only reflect back. They can only give us back what they know of us, right? And so the epiphany for me was, if you want something from somebody or if you want somebody to think something about you, tell them what it is. And then once you tell them what it is, you reap the benefits by walking in the path that you set for yourself, because it can change anytime. Today, I can say I'm an astronaut. And if I start walking like an astronaut, it's just literally that's what I am. And so, that's just my thoughts on it. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I love that too, because like you're saying who you are, but then you're walking in it. Like you're matching it. Like you would know a person by their fruits. You can tell if somebody is confident in that space. And here's an example too. Like play basketball this morning. I play basketball usually on Sundays, and many ballers will tell you this, that there's a difference between being open and calling for the ball. Because like sometimes you could be open, but you could be tired. You might not be ready. But when you're ready, when you claim it, like give me the ball, and they see the confidence in your eyes, they know to pass it to you. Now you might miss it, you might fumble, have a turnover, something, whatever. But that confidence that you convey in that moment means the world. So like whether you have a job interview, whether you're stepping into a new space, you're pitching something to somebody that can do something for you, you're just meeting somebody new, that confidence can take you farther than whatever your circumstances might look like right now.
So then that brings up the next question, right? And I think that's a big part of what you're saying is the fact that the confidence. How do you get that? You know, but because and again, I have the answer for myself, but you know, the same thing for my kids, and I'm not saying this is a one size fit all thing. The reason why we're talking about it, but my son in basketball, I say if we shoot 1,000 shots this week, or you make 1,000 shots this week, when you go into the game and you shoot, you're gonna have the confidence to know that you can make a shot. Now, how many you'll make, I don't know, but if you've made 1,000, it's easily comprehensible that you can make 5 shots in a game or 7 shots in a game because you felt it, you witnessed. So his confidence came by way of repetition over and over again. And the reason why I said the way that I said at the beginning, because I know it doesn't always take physical repetition, but what I do think it takes is mental repetitions. And so, you know, and that could also go to, you know, imagining or meditating or visualizing, but being able to live, because you live it whether you're physically doing it or not. But being able to live it over and over again will put you in a position for the confidence that you need in those moments.
Man, you touched on something big, that mental repetition, because it all starts with our thoughts. It all starts, even before that, it starts with our beliefs, but those are all mental things. And using the same example from basketball this morning, like I remember I had missed a wide open shot, and I started for a second to get on myself. I'm like, nah, I'm tripping. I just made X amount of points. I just made X amount of defensive stops. Why am I tripping over 1 point? Like, and I saw the trajectory of where my mind would have went had I allowed it to stay on that thought. And that's why, yeah, you touched on the key thing of confidence is resonating with the right thoughts at the right time. And it's really doing what you need to do to repeat those thoughts. Like you can read something that a poem on confidence, you can listen to your favorite song, you can relive, if you're going to relive moments where you were confident in a situation, and then apply that to this moment. Because whenever you're experiencing it in your mind, you're experiencing it now. Like everything is more mental than physical. And so I love that you said that it's a mental exercise.
So I'm going to build on that just based off of my own thoughts. And this is a shout out to you, Jay Clay.
Yeah.
You know, one of the things that you've said to me in the past, and I think it's kind of a mantra that you may live by, and it's also kind of some of the sentiment that we kind of touched on the show on a number of occasions. But the saying is, the things that you appreciate. And I know we're talking about the mental aspect of it, and you saying reliving things. But like I told you, I'm on my mission right now to upload all of these videos from my family. And Friday was my anniversary. So I talked to my wife about this as well. And so the thought process here is, bro, like I am uploading these videos every day and I'm reliving even perfect mode stuff. I'm uploading perfect mode videos and I'm reliving it. And the coolest part about it, and I'm gonna use perfect mode as the perfect example. I've been uploading perfect mode videos every day for the past 2 weeks, right? And if there's anything to sharpen my tools, or give me more tools in my tool belt to be able to come on this show and further express myself or further give a deeper explanation of how I feel, will be me reliving these life crafting moments that we've been creating already, right? And so now, like when I say something and live it, I'm living it just by watching the videos. And so there's a level of appreciation that comes along with it too, because you recognize sometimes things that you might not have recognized when it was getting pulled out of you. Same thing with my family videos. And so when I think about the confidence cure and reliving things, and like you said, looking at all the things that I want to convey versus I can look at a bunch of videos that not happy or not fulfilling or not but now the trajectory that I'm on when it comes to things that I can do for my family or things that I can do for this show are on a whole nother level because I've given myself the confidence based off reliving the things that I want to actually happen again. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, and for those who just now hearing the saying, what you appreciates, I just wanted to break it down, and those that heard it, good repetition to know this, because this is one of the most important things. So when we think of appreciating, like we appreciate things ourselves, like I appreciate you, thank you, but also like houses and goods and all these other things appreciate and value. But how do those things appreciate and value? They appreciate and value by the people who value them taking good care of them. Like, for example, you're a realtor in a house, a neighborhood appreciates by people taking care of the neighborhood, people taking care of their own house, people taking care of their yard. And it just has this aesthetic to it where the value keeps going up because it is very much appreciated. So many people want to be where appreciation is. And so we get to appreciate things literally, physically, all of it, mentally, by saying, okay, I love this, I'm going to appreciate it. But what some may not understand is there's an other side of appreciation too, because it all comes down to your attention, what you give attention to. So you can be giving attention or appreciation to things you want and like, or things that you don't want and don't like. And you're wondering, like, why does this keep coming up in my world? Why am I seeing, why am I, stuck in this space? Is because you're giving so much attention to it that you appreciate it. You don't even realize you're appreciating it. It's expanding. What you focus on expands in your world is getting bigger and bigger. And so it's very important that you switch your attention, you switch your appreciation to that you really want to appreciate, that what you really enjoy. And coincidentally, like, that adds to your confidence, because you're like, wow, I notice all of this. Everything I appreciate is right here. I am confident. It doesn't matter what happens out there. Like, I'm here. I'm secure in myself, and this is beautiful.
Bro, so let me tell you. So I want to stay with the houses as the example, because the funny part, and again, this is another reason why you can't allow outside forces to dictate your confidence, your appreciation, or anything. You have to, because ultimately your happiness is going to lie there, number one. But this is one of the reasons why someone would say that someone overpaid for a house, right? Because they showed up to this house and the husband and wife, they loved it so much. Now the house is priced at $250,000. Now this is what's cool about it. The people that live in the house, they overpriced the house based off of what the market says, right? The house might be only worth $200,000, but because they overly appreciate their home, they priced it for a lot higher. Of course, they want to get the most money, right? And then you got all of these people that come and look at the house, and their realtors telling them, you know what, that house is too much. If you look at all the other houses on the market, they have it priced $50,000 over what it's supposed to be, right? But there's always somebody that could come, and I've literally lived this by selling houses for more than the house was worth on the market, because your appreciation is there, somebody else's is going to be there too. And so what happens is you'll buy that house, and everybody around you will say that you pay too much, but you can never feel that. You will never know that, because the way that you're looking at it, the level of appreciation is beyond what anybody can fathom. What you think that you can do for the house, the memories that you can make in the house, the just the way that it makes you feel. And again, it doesn't matter how much the house costs. It could have been $1 million more. As long as you have the correct level of appreciation, the outside forces will never agree with you, because they don't have the same level of appreciation for you as you. So, but that's just my thoughts. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, and even before doing this today, I never realized the link between confidence and appreciation. Like, it really is one and the same. And I noticed it too when people, like, I've seen certain people be around certain people, and their whole aura changes. It's like they're just so confident, they're just so happy, they're just sitting back in that feeling, but it's because they are surrounded by everyone and everything they appreciate. And so we can't overlook the appreciating factor in that. Man, that's awesome. And and similar though, like, because of this on social media, there's certain videos that once I realize what it is, I won't watch. Like fail videos, when people might do something and just fall. Nope, I don't want to see that, because let's say I do try one of those things and I fall, I'm going to quickly get back up and focus on how to succeed, on picturing me succeed in it. And I don't want any remnants of that. Yes, it exists. I understand it. I accept that, but it's just not for me.
So let's talk about, like you said, and I agree. Like, I don't know that I necessarily put them together in the beginning, even though if we were just to have this conversation, cordially, me and you, I think we would still have come to the same conclusion. But what I will tell you is, when it comes to confidence, like, you're going to be things that you appreciate, right? You're going to do more. You're going to be more tied to. You're going to have more reps. Like a kid playing basketball, if they like Brody, he appreciates basketball. Like, all he does is play basketball all day. Like, he literally will come home from school because he loves basketball. He appreciates how it makes him feel, right? And so when he comes home, well, most kids would get on their iPad, he's going to play basketball on the mini hoop for an hour. Then he's going to play 2K, on the PlayStation. Then he's going to go out and do whatever reps I have him do. And that's because he has an appreciation for the sport. He really loves it. But the thing is, if you see him on the court, he's in first grade, he plays third grade, right? How does a first grader have confidence to play third graders when a first grader is supposed to be playing on an 8-foot hoop, but they're playing on a 10-foot hoop? When the first grader should be playing people their height, but they're playing people that's 2 times taller than them. And so the thing is, he has ultimate confidence because his level of appreciation is beyond anything that anybody could imagine. And so there's no fear, there's only confidence, and that's only because he's 100% sure that I don't want to do anything other than this. And so whatever the obstacle is in front of me, I'm ready to tackle it.
Yeah, I love that, man. Yeah, first grade whooping up on third graders. That's and when you little, like that 2-year age gap is one of the hugest gaps ever.
Bro, I'm going to share the footage with you. It's just a picture, and I'm gonna show you a clip of our kids lining up against these kids. And when I tell you, it was the optic of it is so crazy that you will believe that it's no way that these little kids can play with them. But then they go and beat them 38-2. Yeah. So it's just but again, it's to the point of what we're saying. And if we decide to appreciate things that we're not sure of or we're not as confident of, we appreciate it, we're going to be more attuned to it. And that's going to change your whole confidence level off the top. But go ahead, Jay.
And one thing I was thinking about too when you were speaking is that how, why, everyone isn't always confident, about certain things. And I think the underlying reason, because everybody agrees that you perform better. You just do things better when you're confident in yourself. Like you can even fail better if there's such a thing. But it's fear because of the expectation. So like if you weren't expected of anything, it doesn't matter because everything you do is just a bonus. But if like people are expecting you to do something, like to step into that confidence means, yeah, I'm gonna do this, but it also means like the blame is on you. And I guess, and again, an example would be basketball again, because it's fresh in my mind and I played this morning. Like I remember I've had some games where like maybe I was tired or whatever, and I just lost confidence in myself. And it wasn't that much was expected of me, I guess. But then once I started having more confidence in myself and step into the player that I want to be, I'm being expected to hit big shots more. I'm being expected to do these things more. And it's a different level of ability. It's like, man, do I want this weight of holding this? But even the weight that comes along with it is in your mind, and you don't have to accept that weight of it. You can just be confident and weightless, if that makes sense. So I'm saying this to anybody that might be scared to step into that confidence space for fear that it comes with added pressures. It doesn't have to unless you want it to.
And so the confidence part, and this is the part that I want people to get as well. It's just you. There are no outside forces that you have to compete with. And again, I understand the thought process of how will people respond to me or how I feel or what I'm doing or where I'm going. But the question that you got to ask yourself is, how are you going to respond to it? You literally thought, felt, or wanted to do whatever this is. And in that moment when you thought, felt, or wanted to do whatever this was, there had to be a sense of joy. There had to be a sense of determination. There had to be a sense of love. And then you allow a lack of confidence or a lack of appreciation for you realizing how you're feeling in this moment to deter you from doing it. And the funny thing is, look, man, the thing that I want people to get is you have to be confident in being you. This Friday was my anniversary. I grew up different than my wife. So the way that we do things are completely different. My wife on the surface is a I love you right now. She's going to say it verbally. She's going to hug me every single time. I didn't grow up like that. I grew up in a house where my mom and we didn't talk about love like that. Now, here's the thing. I knew my mama, like you couldn't tell me my mama's love was any less than anybody else's love, even though she didn't say it. And it wasn't that she bought me a bunch of stuff to show me. There was just a feeling. And so in that, there's going to be a obstacle or a hurdle that we have to climb in any relationship that I ever get in. And a reason why it'll be hard for me to express myself the way that my mom expressed it to me, because my wife would never be able to internalize it. So it will stop me or prevent me from being confident in giving her the love in the way that I know how to, so that way she can accept it, right? So it'll stop. And so what ends up happening is I just say, girl, I've been with you for this long. I love you. And then we kind of leave it at that. But that's not what I want to happen because I don't feel it anymore, right? So this weekend, I told myself that I'm going to tell her I love her in the way that I want to, regardless of how she feels. And then I did this confidence work that I was talking about, internalizing. How would I tell her how she's going to respond to me in a way that I want her to respond to me? And these are things that I think about. And then we sat down on the bed and I told her how much I love her in the way that I told her that how I wanted to tell her how I love her. And at the end of what I said, and guess what, girl? I love you too. And she responded to me in the way that I imagined that she would respond. And she said, man, I never thought about it from that perspective, right? I never even realized that it was like that. And for me, it made me feel like the love that my mom gave me, I was able to give to her. But again, that's because I was confident enough to do it and not worry about it not being received the way that I thought it should be received. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. I love that, man. Cause like, and it all goes back to what you said at the beginning. Like it's just you. Like all of these mind games we play, we're playing these mind games. All the things we think people are going to say and respond to, we're bringing that without actually truly knowing. And I commend you for moving forward, because she could have responded anyway, but that wasn't even the point of it. The point is for you to be confident in doing what you want to do and how you see fit to do it. Like, because the thing is, everyone, it might not look like it from each perspective, but everyone is doing their best no matter what. Even if you see somebody screw up royally and it's just like, I can't believe they just stupid to do that. They're doing their best. They're doing what they felt they needed to do based on how they assess things so far in their life. And if you can remember that, it's like it's not about you. You know, it's about you from what you give, but it's not about you from what they're giving back, because they are in their mode. They're about them. And so you shouldn't even have that pressure of how others respond. Just do what you feel is right. Do what you want to do, because that's all we're doing anyway.
No, I love that, bro. And specifically, I think, one of the things that I've talked about on this show before is that I never thought I was great until I started to tell people that they were great all the time, or that they were amazing. And so what that was for me was me allowing myself to at least give myself the opportunity to recognize that anybody could be great, regardless if I was in agreement with the way that they lived, or the way they did things, or the way they said things, or the places that they were going. And so when I did that, I saw it for myself. But to your point, I think that you want to recognize other people's confidence as well. So that way it'll in turn be a confidence cure for you. Because if you can look at somebody and say, dang, they're enthusiastic, dang, I think they're going to do this. Now, when you have that same fire in your belly, because we've all felt it. It doesn't matter what it doesn't have to be about a business. It could be anything. It could be telling somebody you love them. It could be going to, an event. It could be watching your favorite show. But when you have that fire in your belly, like you will allow it to come to the surface, and you will be able to be confident. And yeah, you can be confident watching the show too. You know, just FYI. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, and a couple things too. Like it says, confidence isn't a trait; it's a practice. And I've even experimented where I've went into a situation purposely not confident and saw people's reactions to me, and then in the middle of it turned confident, and I just saw like people couldn't understand. It's a fun thing to do. I say everybody should try it. But you have to be confident to be not confident, and that's a whole another thing. But about confidence isn't a trait; it's a practice. One of the things that I love, okay, two things. So when me and you were selling CDs, we talked about this all the time. And where were we? We were in Miami. We were selling CDs to a bunch of strangers, people we didn't know. I was more confident because I knew that you were doing it too. Like for me in that situation, I did what is necessary because I'm like, man, I got to do this. I got to find a way to be confident. I don't feel confident in just running up to all these people, but my boy Troy with me and he doing it too. So I'm going to use that as the confidence. And we were able to like, sometimes it'd be groups of 10 people at one time. We'll stop and just sell it to them and they'll have the meanest faces ever. But I did what I needed to do to have that confidence in that moment. And then, so it was being practiced. But secondly, Troy, I want you to share with everyone, if you don't mind, what you have your kids say every day that I think is amazing, that everybody should adapt this in some way or another. But go ahead.
So you talking about what we say in the morning when we're on our way to school? Also, every morning, and again, the reason why I do this is also a byproduct of something that I did when we were doing perfect mode. So mind you, when there was a point when we are going through this transition where I said, why wouldn't we start our days out the best way possible? It doesn't make like, why would we go into the day not giving ourselves the opportunity, whether we believe it or not in the beginning, to have our best foot forward? And so what I used to do in the morning when I first got out I ain't gonna say when I got out the bed, when I opened my eyes, when I had consciousness, right? The first thing that I would say is, I'm amazing. I'm amazing. And all the time I didn't always feel like I was amazing. I didn't want to get up half the time because it's morning, you know. But I never allowed those thoughts to come into my mind. I would just tell myself I'm amazing. And I know my wife probably thought I was crazy because she'll be up, walking around, doing stuff, and I'm just laying in the bed, it's dark, and I'm just saying I'm amazing. And, you know, a number of times, man, once I got up, I literally felt exactly what I was saying. And so because of that, I adopted that thing with my kids. So every single morning, we get in the car, we get, they put their seatbelts on. I say, hey, y'all got your seatbelts on? And then they say, yeah. And then I start beating on the door or the midsection. And I go, all I have to do is do that. I don't even have to say nothing. The next thing that they're gonna do is they're gonna say, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great, I'm great. And we do like a round of like 4 bars to that while we're driving. And that's the first thing we do, no matter what. And the reason why is because I know that I don't know what challenges are coming for them for the day, but I want them to start their day out confident. And you want to talk about the practice, the mental practice of saying I'm great over and over again, knowing that I have to start my day out like that. I think that's the reason why my kids are as successful at school, because it's not that they don't have any other options, but they're choosing the option that's the loudest and most prevalent to them.
What I love about that too is, like, I don't know if you remember, but a long time ago you told me that one time your youngest son, he was not in the best mood, and he started doing it, and he couldn't resist. Like, you were hitting the beat. His older brother was singing it, and he couldn't resist, and he stepped into it, and that instantly changed his mood, and that would instantly change anyone's moods. And it's like, why don't we start our day like that more often?
See, again, and that's the funny part about it, bro. And this is just me saying what I feel like the outside forces may think about it when they try to do it themselves. Not what they think about me, because I don't think that anybody would look at me and think that, oh, this dude is goofy because he got his kids singing that they're great in the morning. I don't think that. But I also understand the sentiment of doing something new and how you can look at yourself and feel like it's goofy. Like, I understand that, because maybe there's a point where I felt like my kids are going to probably think this is goofy. But the thing was, I understood that this is something that they need to feel no matter what. This is something that I need to feel no matter what. This is the confidence that we're talking about. And when you want to talk about putting in the practice and being unapologetic about it, regardless of how I felt, outside forces may feel like it's going to, or no matter how I felt like I was going to feel about it, we're going to do this because we're going to give ourselves the best opportunity. So that way, whenever something does present itself to me, guess what? Don't matter, because you know what? I'm great. It's that simple. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, and the only way that I think people could have a problem with it is if y'all followed up by saying y'all not. But it's not about nobody else. It's about yourself. You're saying I'm great, and you saying that about yourself does not diminish anyone else. And that's what people have to remember. Like, by you self-empowering yourself, it doesn't diminish anyone around you. It doesn't mean that they are less empowered by it, because it doesn't work like that. Like, when we are all being our stepped into our light, we can see much better. We can see everything much better. We can work much better. I love to give the example of the 5 fingers. Like, if you give all your 5 fingers consciousness right now, one might be like, well, I'm gonna be the smartest, or this one might be like, I'm gonna be the strongest. This one might be in love with this one, and just they all doing their own thing. And so you just be walking around like this all day, and people are like, man, what's wrong with that person? But once you work together, once you realize everyone is in their light and they all are connected, you can start shooting a shot. You can give high fives. You can breakdance. It's like it's more harmony with that, and that's what each of us are. We kind of like fingers on the same hand, or members of the same body. And by doing your part, by stepping into your light, you can be in harmony with everything around you.
And I also like, and I agree, because again, if I was to be able to describe, like if I was to be able to describe what harmony looked like to me, if I was able to describe that would be me feeling great all day. When you talk about, setting your life up in such a way, me, sitting in the bed saying I'm amazing, then me going into the telling my kids that they're great, and then whenever me coming and telling my wife that, hey, no matter what you do, you got this thing. I'm set. I want my life to be this way. I want it to be all encourageable and happy and loving and feeling the amazingness. And that's in spite of the physical realm that I live in. Because we like to tie all of this confidence and happiness to things. But I'm saying, you remove all things, I still feel amazing. My kids still feel great, and my wife still feel like she can do anything. And that's the world that we want to live in. But do we have the confidence that we can even live there? And if you don't have the confidence that you can live in that place, you don't put the things in place in order to achieve it, because it does feel funny. It does feel weird. It does feel different. It's just like walking, like you said. I don't know how I'm gonna walk, but I know I'm gonna do it. And then some kids decide that they're not gonna do that one day because, whatever reason. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. Self-worth is the root. Speaking up is the fruit. And so, that's one thing this all stems from. Self-confidence starts with self-worth. Like, how do you see yourself? And it all comes with, in a sense, it all comes with your speaking to yourself. If you're saying bad things about yourself, if you're complaining about yourself, seeing yourself as less than, of course, you're not going to have confidence, because you don't value yourself that much. But when you start to value yourself and realize, like, I was never meant to be a judge. I'm not. How am I going to judge? God made me perfect. I'm perfect. If you can undo God's perfection, that means you're more powerful than God. And I don't think anyone here believes they're more powerful than God. So you have to accept your perfection. And if you're not valuing yourself at least on the same level, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you are uniquely suited to present to the world how you see the world. Like, because we are all from a different vantage point. Like, it's like if we're lined up, I can be like, hey, look out for this coming up over there. You'd be like, look out for this coming up over there, where we can't see it. It's in our blind spot, but you're perfectly suited. And when you're not in that fully, even if you're not in that a little bit, like, the whole world is missing out. And so I say that just to say how important you are, so you can hear it from an outside source. But it's more important that you tune into the inside source so that you can know it for yourself.
The cool part about this, again, also, is that, and this is when it comes to confidence with other people, or confidence that you give to other people, the number one thing is, and also to the point that you're making about self-worth is the root. One of the biggest things that was a pet peeve of mine is anybody around me saying anything negative about themselves. I absolutely hate it. And a part of it is because of me finding out that self-worth is the root, speaking up is the fruit, is that I never want anybody to believe anything about themselves that I haven't seen, number one. So that's a whole nother, that's a battle within itself, but I hate it. And the reason why I bring this up is because one piece is I said we want to be able to accept or acknowledge other people's confidence. But I also want to say that we do not have to accept people's rotten fruit, the rotten fruit that they give themselves. But also with not accepting their rotten fruit doesn't mean that we have to debate them about it. And I'm saying that because of how I am. I'm quick to tell somebody this. The reason, and this is the conclusion that I came up with myself. The reason why I was not allowing them to accept their fruit is because something in me also believed the thing that they were saying, because I wanted to fight something that was not real. And so the idea here for myself, and I would share to everybody else, is number one, accept and acknowledge people's confidence. So that way you can in turn recognize your own confidence or build your own confidence up. Allow them to be happy, over exuberant, and all these other wonderful things, and tell them you see it. Then on the flip side, when someone comes with the rotten fruit, it's okay to acknowledge that, hey, you are great, but you don't have to dive deep. You don't have to accept it. You don't have to believe that those things are real, because then you end up doing the same thing, fighting yourself on and saying, well, maybe this is that. No, you can hear it and then you move on. But that's just my thoughts on that. Go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. And with the speaking up is the fruit part too. Like, to me, that also means speaking your truth no matter what. And like, I remember I had reached a point, maybe in my 20s, not to say that I lived fake before that or whatever, but it was just like,
you was fake.
I'm gonna be me as quickly as possible around whoever, because that way, if they don't like the me that's showing up, they can just leave, and I haven't invested any time in it or nothing. Cool, you know who I am. This is me, accept it or not. But a lot of times we might, what's the word? Is it pander to just things like you might get a job, you might hold your tongue because, oh, I need this job or else blah blah blah. But it's like, nah, be you. You could be you respectfully. Like being you is respectful. It's not just going off on people for no reason. You can hold your ground and not give much more. I like that you said that you won't argue with somebody, especially about their limitation, because that allows them to strengthen their belief in their limitation by going back and forth. But also, like, truth needs no validation. Love needs no validation. It just is. So when you say something, stand on it. You don't got to repeat yourself. You don't got to say it over and over again. Just say it and just let that be. Even if they come back with something else, you don't even have to respond anymore. You said your piece, and be confident in you and what you want, because you're meant to. And sometimes people are just giving you, let's just say the universe, the world is just giving you the opportunity to see it for yourself. So that's why you're being met with it. And so it's like the sooner that you choose it, the more sooner you would appreciate it, the more sooner it'll be all around you, and you will be in a space of confidence and appreciation.
Look, the thing that comes to my mind when you said it though, bro, is like, I'm drinking water right now, right? If somebody came to me and like, man, that's not water, I'm just gonna say okay, because you don't know, and I do know. You know what I'm saying? So to that point, the truth, I don't argue the truth. I would never argue the truth. And so even to the example that I was given about someone giving themselves rotten fruit, speaking up is a rotten fruit in this instant. It's okay for me to be like, no, it's water. And if they argue me, I don't have to. It's okay, because I'm not going to, like you said, reinforce what you're thinking about yourself, but I'm also not going to allow that to be what they call that, a rabbit hole or Pandora's box for myself. And then the other point that I want to make, and this is about the confidence as well, and I'm saying it only because you said pandering, and I don't know if you use it the right way. It don't matter really at the end of the day. But I said it because it brings up the many times where I've said words that I don't know if I'm using them in the right context. But see, here's the thing. And when we talk about the mental work that goes in on a consistent basis to help you build your confidence, in my mind, the way that I think about words that I don't necessarily hold a firm grasp on the definition, I guess I'll say, is I just think that it doesn't matter what I say, the audience will understand what I mean. And I'll tell myself that all the time. So what happens is when I say it, even when I might still have that inkling of doubt in my mind, the confidence that I've given myself by saying that everybody's going to understand what I'm saying anyway, it comes to the surface. And then I always have an instant reaction because you keep the conversation going. So even if I didn't say it right, and again, I wasn't trying to call you out here, but I just want to show you that, like, it takes a confidence to do anything, and it takes a work. And it's not a hard work. It's a consistent reminder to yourself that it's cool, it's good, I'm good. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I'm laughing because I just want to just demonstrate it. Like, we are all powerful and escugulated, and no matter what propostulates, we will always majuga side.
Real talk though. And I feel you though, and that's the crazy. That's the bro. And again, I know that we're joking, right? But just think about a baby talking that doesn't know how to talk, and a baby will look you dead in your face and say, like, and expect you to know. And the reality of it is, you know what happens? And I'm telling you just because I witnessed it, bro. Like, with both my kids, and I've seen this with other people's kids too. When they were kids and they would talk to us, other people couldn't understand them, but I could, right? And there's been times where I've seen other people talk to their kids and they can understand them and I can't. And the reason why is because the baby is confident in knowing that if I do this enough, this person, and again, I'm not even saying that the baby is processing it. It's just confidence. They don't know anything else but confidence. They don't know anything else but I can do these things. And that's the reason why they're able to achieve the world so quickly. It's the reason why they're able to walk so quickly. It's the reason why they're able to talk so quickly. It's the reason why they're able to start to do all of these different, learn how to eat, learn how to, like, because they don't know that it should be any other way. And so, you know, that's kind of how I like to think about that. It made me think about baby talk for sure.
Yeah, and just even thinking about that, I got to bring up something that it just fascinates me. Like, everybody that talks, you learn the language from scratch. Like, I'm learning. I'm still learning Spanish. Like, I do my Duolingo daily, but I'm learning in reference to the words I know. But like the words I know, how, and that just shows how amazing we really are. And that doesn't just get cut off. I mean, we can make ourselves believe it's cut off. We could tell ourselves we're not smart, but no, if you're communicating, if you're thinking in thoughts, if you're saying thoughts to yourself, you're smart because you learn to even do that out of nothing, out of nothingness. You said, oh, I'm just going to figure out a language and speak it and be able to convey my thoughts to others.
Genius. Yeah. And again, this is going to bring me back to the point of we have to start truly realizing how amazing we are. We got to, because again, if you don't give yourself a chance, and I know how difficult it is to believe how amazing you are. You can think that you're good, you can feel good, but to think and realize that you are amazing is a whole nother level to this. And I think that, like, the moment, like, you have to give yourself every opportunity to see that truth, right? And the moment you do that, that's when your world changes. That's when your confidence goes to where it needs to go. But you have to start with realizing internal forces, internal mentality is the way that we have to approach it. And I challenge everybody that whenever you have an idea, don't ask anybody about it. I'm just saying, just to give yourself an opportunity to truly see what it feels like when you live in it without any outside oppositional forces. Because when you see that, things will start to line themselves up in such a way that you couldn't even believe. And again, I'm going to use myself as an example. a question that I ask myself over and over again, bro, is I do all of this talking, and for a fact forever, I've wanted to write a book. We talked about it many times over. And the thing is, there's a lot of things that I think about when I think about writing a book that stops me every time. I've wrote a first page 20 times, right? So this last time I decided I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm telling you now because I'm far enough along to where I can do what I need to do because I've built the confidence. But I said, I'm not going to tell anybody, and I'm going to just go into this mug and I'm going to just be 100% real, and I'm just going to see what come out. And once I did that, I was able to see all the other levels that came along with it because I didn't have anything that stopped me from looking down the pathway that I was looking at. So, I just encourage you, like J. Clay said right there, you don't need permission. Do that. Live in that and see what happens. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, I'm big on like you can do anything right now without credentials. You don't need credentials to stand behind or get behind and say, I'm this, I have this. Not to say there's anything wrong with it, but I want people to see like that doesn't have to stop you if you don't have this certification yet. You could always get it later, but what you want to do, people care about that more than your papers. Like any personal trainer or something I ever had, like I never said, let me see your papers, let me get this. I saw what they can do. I saw the confidence in their eyes. I saw the enthusiasm of what was wanted, and we all see that all the time. We don't need to know anything about a person to know if we want to be around them or if we want to work with them or just anything, because again, you will know a person by their fruits. We just ooze who we are, especially when we're confident. And so, yeah, you don't need permission. You are the permission. Anything you want to do right now, whether you have a backing for it, whether you have a network, like you said, it will all just come together and align in the most beautiful way. But you have to decide.
Yeah. And I would also tell you, just based off what you're saying, to ride the wave. Like, earlier in the conversation, I said, people are only giving you what you've been able to give to them or show them, right? And so when somebody comes to you with all the energy in the world, you're supposed to ride that wave. You're supposed to allow that to help you propel yourself, because what you should remember in the fact of it is they don't know these doubts that I have. They don't know these shortcomings I feel like I have, unless you told them. But most times we don't do that. And so because they're seeing all the good, maybe I should look there as well. Maybe I got to get out of my own head and realize that I have everything I need. And then once you realize that you have everything you need, start to imagine yourself using all these tools and all of these feelings and all of these thoughts and reliving it over and over again. So that way you can develop the confidence, because that's one of the things that it could take. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. It's funny you said that too, that nobody knows your fears and stuff. I've had instances where I've done something, public, or had to like give some kind of public talk or something. And it was like, man, you broke down the house or whatever. I was like, you couldn't tell that I was nervous. And it was like, nah. But there have been times where I wasn't nervous, and then I'll hear my voice do that nervous shake. And I'm like, why my voice shake like that? I'm not nervous. But then if I start thinking about it, it will make me nervous. But it's because, again, of your thoughts. And that nervous shake is a funny thing, especially when you're not. But yeah, but I love that you pointed that out. Like our thoughts aren't conveyed unless we show them, unless we exemplify those. Well, give them a physical expression. Yeah, unless we express those thoughts, no one will know them in a sense.
And the reason why I keep bringing that up is because something in us, and I know this is not just me, something in us naturally makes us feel that people can hear our thoughts. Something in us naturally makes us feel that people can see our shortcomings. Something in us naturally makes us feel that people can see the obstacles that I see in front of me. It's like we're saying it in our head, and because it's loud in our head, we feel like everybody knows. But the reality of it is, when we act, we never act out all these negative things. Now, there are sometimes, because when we see somebody act out something negative, we all like, oh, I never, like the person that killed everybody next door, nobody knew that he was a killer. They were like, man, I never even knew He was just so, we don't act out these things unless we're like nervous. You know, you've seen people nervous before on the stage, but you also look at them when you see them nervous. At least this is what I've been able to witness in my life. When I've seen somebody nervous, somebody in the crowd always gives them energy to keep going. It's okay, baby. Push through. Because when we see something that's, we feel like it's not of a person, we're going to always give them the opposite. So there's a reason why you will see somebody cheer somebody on that sounds nervous, or they'll recognize, oh, that person was nervous, and they'll tell them afterwards, man, I saw you shaking, but guess what? You did so good, because they don't know these things. And we have to stop making ourselves feel like the outside understands that. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah, but I will say this. So it to a sense, to a degree, like, it's no private thoughts. And what I mean is, you only see through the eyes of your thoughts and your beliefs.
Yeah.
So like, what you are giving off, you will get that version of those people. Like, you will get the version of those people like that. So like, if you have no killer bone in your body, you could be around somebody who's essentially a killer, but around you, they won't show that. Like, you can't believe how many times people told me, like, they'll curse and they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. And they apologize to me because they know I don't curse, but I don't care if you curse. Speak, you know what I mean? But it's you only bring that version based on what your thoughts are. So even if in those moments where you're not confident, but you either do it anyway, so you're exercising that confidence, or you change your thoughts in the moment, people are going to respond to that. But if you were to dwell into that non-confidence, people will respond to that too, because that's the version. So it's like you have this power, you do and you don't at the same time, if that makes sense.
No. Number one, I like the thought process of being nervous on stage, because I think people can visualize it, right? And you're right. When people recognize that, and that's the point that I'm making, you cannot hide what's inside, like you said, right? It's going to automatically come out. If you're scared, if you put yourself in a situation you're not confident in, it's going to come out. So, i.e., stepping on the stage, I was always nervous, and I did some things so that way I didn't portray that while I was there. But if I don't do the right practice to get my confidence where it needs to be, then people will see it. But the beautiful part about it, and that's the part that I'm saying, is that because we're naturally drawn to want to see people do good or see the goodness in people, even though we think that people are looking at all the other things that we see, somebody will come and offset that you've shown and say, man, you know what? I can tell you was nervous, but you killed that. You went hard. And I think that that's the part that we have to be able to do for ourselves. That's how I'm able to maneuver when I feel like I'm nervous. I'm going to tell myself that I know somebody's going to come tell me, you know what, man, I know you're nervous, but you're going to go hard today. I know that you feel this way, but you're going to shine today. And so what happens is, whenever I step up on the stage, that doesn't mean that I don't have a moment where I'm nervous or I'm not shining, but there's going to be a lot more where I am not nervous and I am shining. And I expect that somebody's going to come and tell me that. But go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. And the world, like, it's almost like it's an equalizer. Like, they bring you to who you really are, you know, like, or who you accepted yourself to be in that moment. So like, somebody telling you, man, you keep going, you got it. But it's the same thing as, you know, somebody who's trying to act hard, who's not really that hard. And then somebody who really about it come like, man, shut up or something. And then you see them revert back to like, yeah, I'm gonna shut up. Like, but it's the same thing. It seems different in nature, but it's the world responding to what you're giving off and who you are at your core. And who you are at your core, it could be a peaceful, strong person. And so in those instances, like, you are giving that encouragement to be more of you. And I think it's beautiful. But wow, we got a minute left. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
go ahead, Troy.
No. And yeah, you know, I know we can go forever, but I'm gonna just say, you know, if you feel like the show is helpful, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. You can check out our YouTube shorts. You can check them out on Facebook, TikTok, and, you know, just let somebody know about it, because, you know, if everybody, you know, shouts out to Didi. Each one reach one, and we'll double the size of the audience in a week. And, you know, I just appreciate everybody joining us. And Jay, you can go ahead and take us out, baby.
Yeah, you're a perfect creation made by a perfect creator. So you might as well accept your perfection and enter perfect mode. Yeah.
I'll let y'all.
If I reminded you that you are perfect, would you argue me down or step into your perfection? Welcome to Perfect Mode, where there are no excuses, no expectations, and we explore the world without limitations. I'm Jay Clay, rapper, the spiritual teacher, with my co-host Troy Washington, your friendly neighborhood realtor. Let's be real, so let's be perfect. Perfect. Everything, anything,